my music hot, 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 my music.
Right into it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Cap and King Wodcast with Fraley. I am Cap.
I'm Dallas King.
And I'm Chelsea Fraley.
So our kind of goal here is to have an outlet to talk about all things CrossFit, all things fitness, bring something back to the community where we can show you guys what's going on, whether it be in the HQ or the games or even individuals' local communities. So one aspect we really want to drive in on is community awareness, whether you guys have events going on or people have their own specific PRs or just maybe a gym owner has a member they really want to shout out. We really want to be super active in the social media aspect of things and talk about what everybody has going on, not just us, not just our home box, but just something that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah, it started like when we do live videos, we really love interacting with everyone. So people who weren't at the competitions, they be commenting, interacting with us, and we get to make fun of people, cheer people on, all that sort of thing. And then we started talking, and we're just gonna do it on purpose now. So there we go. I think we have a few things that we want to recap. Hey. We had a Halloween party last weekend. It was a wonderful time. Big prize money, and I guess nothing really. Nobody tackled anybody.
Not this time.
So that's good. But unofficially, Andy won some money because we can't keep him out of anything. But Justin Collier won the rock paper scissors tournament and the $500 prize pot. I'm not really sure what to call that, but anyway, so do what?
That sounds good.
Prize pot. That's probably not the best way.
And for those of you that weren't there, he meant somebody won $500 for playing rock, paper, scissors. I've seen people do like weight loss challenges with friends that lasted for 2 months to win around the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And somebody won $500, a heavyweight championship belt, and what was the drink that he won? He won something pretty nice.
Primetime Barbershop donated a bottle of Don Julio tequila. So made out like a bandit. It was awesome. And undefeated too.
Undefeated, single elimination. Somebody went about almost 6-7 games of rock, paper, scissors.
I can't remember now. We were going to do it a lot longer, but the single elimination was
that was good.
killer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
With dance breaks in the middle. We put a music on and Rachel sprinted from, I don't know where she was at. She might have been at the porta potties, to be honest with you. I don't know. She came from the shadows. Sprinted out and started wobbling. Wobble, right? It was wobble.
Yeah,
She did great.
Owned it. And then a lot of off-key line dances. Or no, you start on this, and everyone's kicked, that one's spinning, and it was a good time.
My favorite was knowing that everybody learned different line dances.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody was doing their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. It's this is the dance. You're like, I don't think that's this is what we used to do in Mansfield.
We didn't dance in Mansfield.
We didn't dance in Mansfield. So it was a really great time.
Those are the things that we have going on in our box, and we want to know things that other people got going on. We do have an Instagram page up at the moment. It is the Cap and King Wodcast, Cap_and_King. You can go follow that. We would love to hear suggestions that people have for what they want to see in this little series of videos and things that you guys have going on. We want to know what other people are doing.
We should have some posts up by the time this drops. We say drops. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
We'll have some posts up, and then we'll hashtag some stuff. We'll be working with some sponsors here soon. This is at Activate Fitness, so Activate Fitness Studios at the moment is where we're at. But yeah, so we'll put up some hashtags for y'all to start doing for some of the segments that we're going to be hopefully doing. I like your PRER.
Right, we've got a couple
yeah.
things in the works. One that we're kind of looking forward to is PRER. Eventually, the sketchbook is going to turn more into a laptop. Chelsea, our little technical producer here, she's going to find some videos of somebody either doing something really incredible or absolutely busting it. And just have a little montage video of that kind of thing while Dallas and I figure out if it works or it doesn't. And just little things like that, or like even a PR segment. It's about to get heavy. Whether it be somebody hitting their first ever 300-pound clean or their first clean. Like we want to see all ends of people's personal growth. So feel free to share anything like that with hashtags that we're going to come up with that we don't have at the moment, or even just sending them to us via Instagram or anything like that. All right, we also want to talk bigger picture CrossFit, not just, like I said, what we have going on in our local box. A couple weeks ago, the stage 1 of the CrossFit Games wrapped up. This upcoming Monday, October 19th, will be the first day of stage 2 of the CrossFit Games, where they will be taking the top 5 men and women from stage 1 to Aromas, California, out to the ranch, back to the grassroots of CrossFit.
Super exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of things they do. I know you mentioned something yesterday about Dave Castro posting it's going to be like the 2007 games, but more.
Yeah, but if you go back and watch any of those videos, there's stuff, y'all should go watch the 2007 games because Annie Thor's daughter, when she had a baby this offseason, so she's not in it, got her first muscle up, which is weird. Like whenever you start thinking about it, like those CrossFit athletes, they're all our age. It's super. I don't know if it's humbling or like embarrassing or what it is, but like you put them in at such a high level, and they're like our age. And then there was a clean event where the dude, he was cleaning it and then dropping it, and there were super bouncy plates, and he just caught it right back like that.
Oh my!
And like he fought. No, they got in an argument. They're like, no, that's not a rep, and he's like, y'all didn't lay it out. And so like those were like the early days of CrossFit where they didn't know that inevitably there would be douchebags there trying to cheat the system. But that's super exciting because they're definitely going to run up the hill.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what they do with that.
There's like 8 telephone poles up that hill.
Well, I had seen where he had posted what like the day 1 events from that year's CrossFit Games were, and one of them included what was it, 2,000 meter, 5,000 meter trail run, something like that. All I know is that since then he has expanded that trail, and now they have their partnerships with things like Go Rug.
7K, yeah, it was the 7K
right.
plus the deadlift, yeah.
And now they have their partnership with things like Go Rug, so you know they're gonna have to throw that in there somehow. Just seeing what the events were back then compared to what they are now, some of the workouts that I feel like that they put in the games back in 2007 wouldn't even be as like severely strenuous as some of the workouts that they throw in the open now.
Yeah, well, you remember, like, at 2007, they actually used a peanut roaster.
Yeah.
They actually turned it and reached in and grabbed the thing. Yeah, which is, that's like, that's one of those ideas where, like, it's like how CrossFit is meant to be, but then it's like, I mean, like, someone might have died or almost died, it didn't work out, but.
And that's why we abandoned some things.
What if they're going to do that, though?
Huh?
What if they're going to do that?
Man.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool to see them wheel that thing back out.
Exactly peanut roaster, but it's going to have, like,
or like the top prize winner just gets like a golden peanut roaster.
I wouldn't put it past. If Rogue makes it, it would be legit.
That would be absolutely legit. Every box would have one within a week.
Yes. Yeah, just sitting over in the corner. And the 5 a.m.ers would finally like have the power. They would go over there and make the WOD. That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, so he said he's going to make it things like day 1 and then some. So I want to be surprised to see some of these workouts literally come back, but maybe see the weights change, maybe see the gymnastic movements get more extreme.
Well, we saw that even the other day. We repeated 13.1, and I ran over in front of Alexis, and right when she did the first weight change, and it was 75 from 55, and we were like, no, stop, that's only 75, and she like yelled at us and was like, it's 75, and I forgot that it was in 2013, like they hadn't given women credit yet.
There weren't as many people given 75.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And so it was like the guys were 135, and then the girls were 175. It's a big freaking gap for any weight. But so yeah, that weight is going to be massive. Change from 2007 for sure.
I'm really excited to see it. I'm curious as to how the point spread is going to be with only 5.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like that means it's a little more important to stitch up like wins, as opposed to just being consistent, being middle of the pack. Well, your middle of the pack is 3, you know?
Yeah. Will it be a single? It'll have to be a single, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think so. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, because then it would be if it was 50, 40 or 100, 80, 60. So hopefully it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
And like people can actually jump. I mean, I think it'll come into play a little bit more on the guy side because it's probably like 2 guys. Like from what like our prediction or my prediction, I mean it's gonna be 2 guys and the other 3 guys.
Right.
Where the girls
Who's
are a little
fighting
more
for
wide open.
third.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if they had those big spreads, someone who's lower could make a big old jump.
Right. So I guess on that note, we can go ahead and talk about the 10 athletes who are going to the games this year, stage 2 of the games anyway. So on the women's side of things, this is going from 1st to 5th from the stage 1 results.
Okay.
Yeah. First, Tia Claire Toomey, no surprise there. Second, we have Brooke Wells, actually Arkansas.
A little Fort Smith native.
Yeah. Haley Adams, young Haley Adams, coming into 3rd place. Katrin David's daughter in 4th, and Kari Pierce in 5th.
Is it? I've never said it out loud. That's the first time I've heard that name. Is it Kari?
I really
I
hope
think
so.
I say,
since
I,
this is
I think
going
I
on
say
YouTube.
Carrie in my head all the time, but I don't know.
I-
I'll have to say the only thing about Kari Pierce or Carrie Pierce is thanks to Jordan Duvall, I can only see. Is it Jason Gordon-Levitt?
Jordan, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, she goes. She's the female version of him, and I don't know if y'all are picturing it. And she is.
I've never thought of that, but now I
She
see
is
it.
perfect.
I had to
And
Google it,
thank you.
but-
Yes, I did too. I was like, nah, she doesn't look like him. And I was like, oh my lord, they're like brother and sister.
Right.
So keep that in mind. Thanks, Jordan.
So what do y'all think about this top 5 on the women's side of things? Like, anything that we're surprised about there? Anybody that you were expecting to see that you didn't see? Anybody that's on here that you didn't expect to see?
I think the top 5 is pretty much like who we thought.
Right.
Just me personally, we're super sad that Sarah didn't make a run.
Absolutely.
But she did all those posts the other day.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention something
Mhm.
about that. Apparently, back in May, she had a little bit of a box jump fiasco.
Oh, I broke my hand. Okay, ready?
Busted her shin. I don't think it said she quite broke her shin, but she did end up with 12 stitches after it, and
So it's not like a
some kind of
minor
an infection that she's been
situation.
dealing with since then.
Mhm.
So I have it written here. She came in 21st in the stage 1 of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And
And wasn't there's an issue? She had some sort of adrenal sickness or something along those
low
lines.
cortisol something. I should have
We're
wrote
very
that
prepared.
down.
We're
We were
very
very
prepared.
prepared. Episode 1, baby.
Yeah, but I mean it's just frustrating because she's been like right there like the last like
Always at the
it's
cusp.
like 4 years.
Right,
She's been
and
there?
every year at the games, something happens.
Mhm.
She breaks her rib.
Yes.
For some reason, she has to be pulled out, or
I
just
know.
something happens in the middle of the pack.
It happens to me every time at the games as well.
Yeah.
That's what.
I was always
feel
wondering.
bad talking about that. Like,
Unfortunate.
like
Right.
golly, she does so poorly at the games. Like,
I was really looking forward to her
unlike
this
me.
year, though, because
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, she came second at the Rogue Invitational, correct?
I think so, yeah. But that's kind of her characteristic. She like during the year she's great.
Right.
And then like I don't know if she overtrains, and clearly I'm not like one to say she's overtraining or not overtraining. But like if she just doesn't peak at the right time, because
Right.
she will. Like everyone gets like hyped up about her. She's like, gosh, she took second there. She's clearly gonna get a little
This
bit
is
better.
the year.
Yeah.
Every year.
I know. But I mean, not to take anything away from Katrin, but she's our favorite Icelandic
Oh, okay.
Icelandic
She's
competitor. She really is.
She's fantastic. I'm really happy to see her back in that top 5. I did not think she wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
Like, she was
Mhm.
definitely one of the shoo-ins for me to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost surprised that she's in 4th. I would have put her in more 2nd, 3rd.
Mhm.
I'm not saying 4th isn't impressive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, again, like you have to take all this with a grain of salt. These
Yeah.
are the top 5 fittest. I mean, top 10 fittest humans, top 5, and I would argue that a couple of these girls are going to be more fit than the guys over there.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
and maybe take away some heavy weights, but they'll probably run them into the ground. But I like that Haley, jumped in as a rookie. Rookie was last year, right?
Yeah, she is 20.
Yeah.
She's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And she came 3rd place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's up there with Rich Froning.
Yeah,
got her
you
going
put
from.
you get anybody on Rich Froning in there.
I know.
That guy knows a little thing or two about fitness.
A couple things, maybe.
He's done this a time or two.
Is it 9 or 10 now of all games?
I think so. So definitely 4 individual wins, obviously.
And So that means 8. I think.
And I think 4.
Yeah,
5 team wins because there's the gap year between him and Fraser where Ben Smith won the games. So Fraser has now won 4 games. Ben won before him. Rich Froning, no. It is 4.
Well, can you, if you're on your laptop, please?
Yep.
There was
If
one
you're on your
year.
laptop, we'll be able to look.
There was
fact
one
check
year
this.
at the games where the Team Wasatch Brutes came first place in the team instead of Froning and friends.
And they got second though.
They got second
Yeah.
that year.
Mm-hmm.
So that means Froning currently holds 8 CrossFit Games championships.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of a good resume to
I
have.
know. And it's not, and that's the cool one. I don't want to jump off of like the girls, the women's side of it, but
Right.
it's cool that like some of the athletes that won in like 2007, they couldn't hold a candle to like the athletes now.
Right.
Just because like now it's a professional. I mean, you're a professional athlete. Like it's not like most of the people who won in like 7, 8, 9, 10, and probably even like 11 were like they all had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Like they were just being like fit on the side. And now like with
Back in 2007, people could have a hard time snatching. Now pistols are in the open.
yeah, and we have muscle ups in like scaled, just local scaled comps.
Right.
Shout out HOA competition. Maybe have an elite division next year. I don't know. Somebody's ever suggested that. But there were games athletes from 10 up. So hey, take it for whatever you want.
So coming back to the women's side of things, other than Sarah, is there anybody else that was surprised about not being here?
I don't think. Sorry, did you? Were
No,
you?
go ahead.
I'm cutting her off.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I was a big fan of the 2 ladies from Australia. Cara Webb or
Right.
Saunders,
Now.
Cara Saunders now, and then Jamie Green.
Yeah, Jamie Green's
I really
She's
wanted
had a
both
good
of
year.
them
yeah.
to be in it. Mostly Cara, I mean, she just had a baby less
Right.
than a year ago, and
I-
she went. It's crazy.
I thought she could have messed some things up on that leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was in that top 5 spot pretty early.
Yeah.
I think she started second, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the rest of it just did not quite go her way.
Well, it's kind of frustrating because we didn't get to watch all of the games because of how they
Right.
televised it. I mean, or lack thereof. They're like, hey, this is how everyone finished. Y'all can just go watch this stuff on your own. But I don't know. I would have liked to see more Australia. I guess there's one famous one from Australia.
I was really, really hoping to see Laura Horvath in there. I think she had a really good year last year. Because last year was her rookie year at the games, correct?
I don't think was it her. Oh, it was.
I know she had been in regionals. I know she had seen her in sanctionals. I don't quite remember if I'd seen her at the games up to that point. And last year, if I remember correctly, she was second at the games.
She was definitely podium.
Yeah. So
Or 2 years ago. It was last year or 2 years ago.
So whether she was rookie year or not, she was making impressive moves.
Just grab your phones for today.
Sure.
Laura Horvath.
Fact check us. Make sure we're
Yeah, because we're stupid. I mean,
not notes.
Christian's like, well, I don't know about how like I am.
I didn't.
But no, that's sucks for her because she fell out on her weakness,
Right.
and it's always unfortunate to see an athlete like 2 or 3 years in a row have that nemesis. Like, in all honesty, I think Brooke had that for a little bit. I want to remember it was like something like muscle ups.
Pegboard.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's a pegboard workout. It was one of the last workouts at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and you've seen her jump right into those wads like now, last year's games and now here, which crazy sad finish for Brooke last year.
Right.
But to see Laura Horvath on handstand push-ups again.
What am I fact checking?
Laura Horvath's finishes, CrossFit Games finishes and appearances.
Oh.
But like it was, I forget how it was like Dirty. It wasn't Dirty Diana. It was Dame Diane.
Dame Diane.
And just didn't finish a DNF on a open or not an open wad. A games wad is just you can't come back.
Kiss of death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm a big fan of her. I mean, there's
she's got a lot to go.
and I love whenever athletes like she's a bigger athlete.
Mhm.
Like
She's strong.
Super, crazy strong. And like a thick girl, as opposed to like you get like Katrin is like rail skinny. Obviously,
Right.
everyone's all in the same level of fitness here.
Mhm.
But I think it's really cool when you see athletes just like on the game side where you have like guys that are like 5'4", and then like Fikowski's like He's like
6'1",
6'3" or yeah,
something like that.
he's way up there.
Yeah, my height, yeah.
Yeah. So
There's hope for us tall people.
Yes, big.
Thank you, Fikowski.
Big gymnastics. Come on.
So while she finishes looking that up, would y'all like to make a prediction on what you think the podium is going to look like from the women's side of things?
Are we gonna do like a group prediction and discussion? So I'm not sure anyone would argue with Tia.
No,
coming
absolutely
out.
not. She's going to come out on top.
Like, so if she's definitely won, I like Kari Pierce, but it's like the last little bit of whatever she doesn't finish.
So I actually want to make a point about Kari Pierce. First, I was surprised when I heard that she was in the top 5 with some of the other names up there.
Mhm.
And then my second immediate thought is, why am I surprised? The past 2 years, Kari Pierce has been the highest placing American woman at the games.
Yeah.
So why was I so
what we
surprised?
doing? I think it's a little bit of her strength is what. It's not that she's not strong in like watts, but like her overall tip top, like where Tia is going to win that
Right.
clean ladder. I think that's where she lacks. I think that's what we
Right.
like holds back a second or third place. But I think she's going to be up there. But as you look at the top 5, it's Tia, and then who's gonna do it? I personally think that Brooke's going to be a lot hungrier and have a little bit of unfinished
Right.
business. I'm not sure we can do a sprint event at the ranch quite like the one that
I
she
don't
came
know.
out on. But mine would be Brooke or Haley in that second spot.
Gotcha.
Um,
Those are solid choices. I would love to see Haley place that high this early.
mhm.
I'm going to say it on record. I think Haley has potential to be better than Tia. But I don't know if we're ever going to get to see Haley in her prime versus Tia in her prime, given the age.
Because Tia is she 30-ish or late 20s? I mean, like,
Somewhere around there.
yeah. But either way, almost a decade on Haley.
Yeah, and Dave Castro said it best whenever he did his last interview with Talk to Me Fitness.
Mhm.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
It's going to catch up at some point.
It really
I don't know. Tia and Matt might prove that they can beat it. However, I would love to see Tia be able to stay in this shape long enough
Mhm.
for Haley to get up to 22, 23,
Yeah.
whenever she's going to be in that peak physical
Yeah.
condition.
Because you can't rush like strength. Strength takes years and years
Absolutely.
and years.
And that, I'm pretty sure the one rep max front squat was Haley's lowest finish in the stage
was.
one at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah. Which is so if we're comparing people that we have a
Are you talking about 2019? She got 15th.
Oh,
that was last year. So the year before that is
Okay.
when she was on the podium. So this would have been her 3rd year.
Right.
I guess she still made it to the games. It's just not stage 2.
correct.
It says she was unable to finish the Dubai CrossFit Championship and Rogue Invitational due to injuries.
Oh, I remember that vaguely. I'm pretty sure she placed 6th or 7th on the stage one of the games. Though. She was close.
Mhm,
She
yeah.
was barely missing
Yeah.
the test.
You throw a DNF and she still finishes 6th or 7th.
Right.
That's solid.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So on
The
the
podium.
podium, I really think it's. I'm gonna go Brooke. She's a local girl, and this like
Yeah.
after what she did last year,
Right.
and like getting DQ'd for. I mean, I know it was in the rules and all that. It's
Right.
all laid out, but like, man, that's like inches, and it's awful. But
Just something to
I'm gonna
prove.
go- yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go 2 for Brooke Wells, and then those are tough. They're all pretty much the same athlete, but
Right.
I would say that Catherine's going to be my 3rd for experience only.
Right. It's hard to bet against a 2-time CrossFit Games winner.
I know. So if Catherine is 3rd, I found myself putting Carrie in 4th or 5th again
Right.
for no reason at all.
Yeah.
But I guess for her lack of, just brute strength, that Tia who front squatted 318 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
During stage 1, which is just crazy. I 100% can barely lift that off of the rack in my front rack.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't front squat that.
So that's like real scary. But I think that Haley's going to go 4th and Carrie is going to go 5th.
Hold that 5th spot.
But that last little bit is going to be within 3 points of each other.
Yeah.
And like
absolutely.
so that's like I'm not really making a prediction. It's going to be one of those who's going to finish 3rd clearly because there's only 5 people and I called up 1 and 2. But it's a crazy good race on the girls' side.
Absolutely. That's going to be the exciting one to watch this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the girls have been a lot more fun to watch. Number
Yeah.
one, because they've been so competitive, but they're the same names. Like we don't have tons of new girls, new women like coming up and into the ranks, and it's like Matt Frazier and everybody else.
Right.
Sure, Noah Olsen's up there. I mean, dead even with him, but he's been there for 4 years, just dominating. And then now we've got some new guys recirculating. So I really enjoy the women's side, like because of the competition.
Right. It's a little more exciting to watch. The point spread is not so far.
Yeah.
in between.
Whenever like all of Sunday, Matt can just not show up to the games
Yeah,
and show up to the
still
podium
win.
and still get first.
Yeah.
Like that's. But hey, if we don't like it, if someone doesn't like it, they gotta beat them.
Yeah,
Like, so.
totally. What's your top 3 on the women's side of things?
Like, you didn't take notes on your laptop.
No, I
It's not even
didn't.
open.
No.
Who's your favorite on the women's side? Like in general.
Like on the list, or
No, in general.
Sarah, and
Yeah,
so I was
absolutely.
disappointed. that-
Absolutely.
That she didn't make it. I know.
Yeah.
I love her. You ever seen the video where she's like laughing and smiling and she like looks down the lane and
And
just
she
like
gets-
It reminds me of
serial
Lex.
killer? She's gonna love it. You said
That's
that.
probably why I like her so much. It's because every time I see her, I think about Alexis.
Well, that's super nice. That's super nice. She's gonna really like that.
But yeah, probably obviously Tia first, and then.
I'm sorry about my handwriting.
No, you're fine. Dallas's isn't much better.
Oh, all right, all caps to avoid.
I know. I was staring at this earlier. I'm like, what does that say? Brooke second. Tell her sitting that well, and then third, Katrin. I don't.
I mean,
That'd be
that's
my
pretty
top
solid,
3.
It's kind of hard not to go there
Yeah. I mean,
because mostly because they're not proven.
Basic.
and they're all super well known. Like we see them every year. Like
Mhm.
you know these names.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put my podium Tia first. I'm actually gonna put Katrin second. I think she's gonna come back in, perform the way she does at the games. And then that third spot, as much as I want to see it, she's gonna once again be highest placing American woman in the games. So moving over to the men's side of things.
Yeah.
So we don't really need to talk about Matt
Understand.
Fraser. Everybody knows his accomplishments. I think it's pretty safe to say right now he's going number 1 on our podium. 4-time CrossFit Games champion. This year will be the year that he'll break Rich Froning's record.
Oh, it's a sad thing.
That it's this year?
I know. I'm such a fan of Rich Froning.
Yeah.
I'm as equal fan, but like, is that gonna pull Rich out of retirement? He's always said
No.
dead direct to it, but man, he's a competitor.
Yeah. I wish. I think if there would have been a year that would happen, it would have been this year.
Yeah, it
Seeing
would.
as to how the team games didn't get to happen, the Mayhem's version of the team games also had to be canceled. If anything would have pulled Rich Roney back into individual competition,
Yeah, that's
it
true.
would have been this year. I think he is truly committed to staying away from individuals. I just don't think he's into that training, which is crazy because you see how he trains now, and you think,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Yeah,
It's-
he goes. I don't really like to hurt anymore. And I'm like, excuse me, sir.
But you still see his open placements up at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I know. Which is what keeps all of us like guessing. We're like, come on, man. Like, he's finishing like 5th and 6th in the world.
Right.
All you gotta do is just a little push, and he'll like.
Literally just has to register as a different thing on the website.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
don't put individual or don't put team, put individual, and he's in the games.
Yeah.
Second, also very well known, Noah Olsen.
Mhm.
We second at the games last year. Always performs super well, and he gets better every year. Like I watch him, and I feel like his body is changing every year
Mhm.
based on what he's been training for, obviously. But he always has one of the most drastic physical changes to me, and I think it always does him wonders.
Mhm.
I think he performs super well. I'm excited to see him and Matt again. Him being second last year, since out of the really well-known names, I'm pretty excited that he was the one who made it top 5.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then some of our slightly lesser well-known. First one I want to talk about is Justin Medeiros. Mullet power is strong here.
And that's an unpermed. That's a natural
Yeah.
curly
Yeah, it
mullet.
is.
We got to see him at the Granite Games when we went a couple years ago, and he had a big old huge family out there with him. He's from Washington, or that's where he lives. He lives
Okay.
in Washington, And yeah, he had a big old giant fan club, and it was like the whole family, friends all flew out. And I was just a really big fan of just how, he wasn't, he wasn't out there like being super cocky or anything like that. He was there working. I think he was in the teen division then, teen individual. And so he was really fun to watch.
So he's actually 21 right now. He is very young, just like Haley Adams. And this is his rookie year at the games. And here he is at the top 5 heading to the ranch next week.
Yeah, getting to go to the ranch, your first one.
Yeah.
Making it to that stage 1, and then that's your first. It's like legendary.
Right. So in 2019, he missed out on the games. The sanctuary he went to was Granite Games. He missed out by 1 place to be qualified to the 2019 games. And that 1 place was only by 10 points. He was that close. This year, he went to the first sanctional this season, the Filthy 150 out in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Beat out, I think, 13 other current and former games athletes, including names like Sean Sweeney, and won that whole thing to qualify right away.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to be a little bit smaller athlete compared to, I know Matt is like a short athlete, but he's real thick.
Right.
Not that Justin's not like a thick guy, but he's just like a little smaller made than all 4 of those other guys. Like I think that Jeffrey, what was his last name?
Jeffrey Adler?
Yeah, Adler. The massive dude, Right. And compared to some of those other guys, like in stage 1, was it CrossFit Thor? He front squatted like 5 something. Front squat. He's got really awesome hair.
Yeah,
like somebody else I know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Maybe one of these days I'll let
we'll
him
get
be
strong.
down and strong.
Yes.
So yeah, Justin Medeiros came 3rd on the stage 1 of the games, walking into the ranch on 3rd. Then next and 4th, Samuel Quant, also fairly young. He's only 24. Fun fact, he had his first child 5 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen him he's in all those posts right there, and he's like a garage gym type guy. It is a CrossFit at Mallard, but it's a room and not a whole lot bigger than the office right here. Like it really is. It's like his just like shop, and it looks like there's only he works out with the same like 5, 6, 10 people daily. I think he started out at a bigger gym, but he's also in Washington. Oddly enough.
So what's funny about Samuel Quant is that so many people are surprised when they hear him going to top 5. It's like, who is Samuel Quant? Samuel Quant's been to the CrossFit Games the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 4 times CrossFit Games athlete. Last year he came 13th. So he was not quite in the last cut, but the one right before that we missed some pretty big names in for that one.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if something like a stage 1, stage 2, it would be opposite, stage 3, stage 2, stage 1 of the CrossFit Games is like a staple now. So that you can kind of feature some of these people, because that's what happens. Not that you don't want 75 guys and girls from around the world to go to the games, but clearly we're surprised at the top 5 guys. Like, we don't know all their names.
Right.
So I think it would be cool if they did this where they had little stages, so we could kind of see who they are, where they're from, do little athlete profiles, because he's been there 4 times and I had no idea who he was before he qualified.
I think in my ideal game setup, 20 is a perfect number. You have 2 heats per division. And it's not so many names that you can't get familiar with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
40 was a lot. 150 last year was a lot.
But really cool when a national champion gets to come.
Yes.
But then at the same time, you see you're not even able to finish or do some of the movements, which is a struggle whenever you're trying to find the fittest person in the world and then getting everyone from every single country to send a representative.
And I think that's where you can take advantage of what you just said, holding on to this multiple stage format for the games, where you keep these national champions, you keep all these sanctional qualifiers and things like that, but then you still do this online version of stage 1, where then you cut it down to 20. Maybe it doesn't have to be as severe as 5, but they still get those chances.
And I think that helps out CrossFit as well, because one of the reasons they got rid of regionals is they were spending $2 million in the South region and get 2 athletes that come up, in the South America regional, and you only get the 2 athletes. Not that those 2 athletes aren't there, but aren't worth the $2 million. But if we can get them there without spending that much money, it's going to be a lot better, and then a lot more people can view it. Although I do really miss the regional atmosphere.
Oh, I do too.
Of all those, it's crazy good. but hopefully with the sanctionals they can like figure that out.
Right.
You know, and not be completely separate from the games. They can be now that region, you know, whatever the North Central region is now the Granite Games, or you know,
Right.
that sort of thing. I hope it can do that, but like they're making a lot of good changes, so I hope it leads that way.
And then moving on to Jeffrey Adler, he came 5th in the stage 1 of the CrossFit Games. This is his 2nd year at the Games. Last year he placed 33rd, so not quite as high as someone like Samuel Kwan, but again, Samuel Kwan is a semi-veteran at this point. This is going into his 5th Games, I believe I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's made quite an impressive jump here from 33rd to top 5 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of the veteran athletes are on this guy's side. You get a lot of guys talking about how good he's done, the big jump that he's made, and how scary they kind of see him being over the next 2 or 3 years. And I think we're really going to get to see it this year. We got our Canadian member coming out.
Absolutely, he's Canada's only hope right now.
I know, yeah. But like watching this, he's also the fun. Like I wish that they would do more French interviews, because I'm pretty sure he's a French speaking Canadian. At least that, or he's got a wicked thick Canadian accent. But just like when Camille did it, I wish they would do some French ones, because it just sounds so cool. Get the big burly guy up there, and he's like speaking like in such a romantic French language. You're like, you're talking about killing people? I know. It sounds like you're going to take me on a date. But no, like he's great, like great guy. Like it's a really great gym that he's at, and it's like really shown out this year. I mean, clearly, right in that top 5.
So names that we're surprised about not being here. I think the one I'm most disappointed in not making it is Chandler Smith. He missed out by 2 points.
Yeah.
2 points being in that top 5. Jeffrey Adler came in that last workout. I don't remember what they placed in that workout, but that's all it took was for him to.
I'm such a big fan of Chandler Smith.
Same.
I mean, he's not that we get to see any other guys fluctuate as far as like their values or like how they act, or you know, because we don't get to see all that side. But like he's just a solid dude. Like he still drives like an old Jeep Liberty that like, you know, you can just tell like his personality is just go to work. Obviously, he's in the Army. I wish I could know specifically what he was, like his rank and all that jazz. But you know, like a super respectful guy. He loves having a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we get to see it on like Buttery Bros, like whenever he does that. Yeah.
And then seeing things like his heavy squat clean at the Rogue Invitational. Maybe not the most technically sound guy, but that boy is strong. I was surprised that he didn't come first in the front squat. I think he came like 5th.
Yeah.
With something around a 420-ish, somewhere around there front squat. Ridiculously impressive, don't get me wrong. I was expecting to push like 1,000, you know?
Well, I think that, and just like to bring it back to our everyday CrossFitters, that's how important mobility is. If he had the mobility, like, you heard Coach Glassman, Coach Bergener. Coach Bergener just ripped him apart. He was like, didn't even hold back. He's like, what is going on with this guy? You know, he just cleaned like, it was like 3 something, and like, he's like holding it out here, like, holding it in his arms. And
like 2 fingers under the bar. His elbow's tucked in right here.
Yeah.
And he still stands the thing up.
I know, which is crazy. I mean, like, the strength is off the charts.
Right.
But, that's that mobility that needs to be there. If it's not, then it could cost you a trip to the games.
And even at that note, he held that handstand hold for about a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a little bit of technique in him.
Yeah.
If you got a lot of bit of technique
at least
in
in
him.
fight, for sure.
Oh, 100%. I don't remember what he placed at the Rogue Invitational this year, but it was high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he's a guy that's going to be around for a while. You know, he's a collegiate wrestler.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, super disciplined guy. It was him and Noah train. I don't know if they could train tons and tons, because I think they live completely different places, but they're real good buddies. And they're a lot alike. So you can see, like, guys that train like that, he only missed by 3 spots.
Yeah.
I would love to see Patrick Bellner there again.
He's on my list too.
It is.
Came 15th.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out for him. I'm not even sure why.
Well, I really think that the one of the downsides of like the Rogue Invitational and how they did the first stage of the games, some people really are gamers. Like whenever you see someone next, you know, and I think that honestly, I think that's what it is. I mean, you shouldn't have to, but it can always help. You know, some people are just driven by the person next to them, beating them picking the bar up and that sort of thing. He did it at Wadapalooza one year. He was kind of right behind someone and would just, if the guy reached, he reached and just ran him in the dirt the whole time. So, like, I'm sad about him just because kind of the same thing with Chandler Smith. He's a super nice guy, super humble dude.
Have you watched the All-In documentaries on him and Fikowski?
I think I've seen bits and pieces.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's, to see their training, see their methodology. They're good dudes. He holds a full-time job. He just finished school to become a chiropractor. And that's what he's doing on top of all this CrossFit. So, and plus, one of his strongest suits is recovering. He can be just as good in the last workout of a games week as he was in the first one, where a lot of people are starting to fall off. And that's why, even though in a lot of those earlier workouts in the past games year, he's had something happen. A bike pedal or bike chain falls apart. He falls off a wall and almost gets a concussion and comes back and works out that day. And he still fights his way back up to the top 5.
Yeah, he fought. And with an athlete like that, like not being able to make it, like you wonder, like if they would just miss that one mistake, like how if it would be them,
how much harder would he be pushing Matt? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, I said Vellner was 15th. Vellner was 9th. He was a little closer. Fikowski was 15th. Fikowski was my other guy. I'm not gonna lie, no disrespect to Fikowski. He's one of, if not my favorite men's athlete, and the Vellner probably my top 2.
Yeah.
I did not think he was going to make it in the top 5 after seeing the workouts. I don't think a lot of the workouts on this format is good for a guy with his build, with where he's at, and that's not an excuse by any means. We've seen him come second place before at the 2017 games.
Which was his rookie year, right?
No, 2016 was his rookie.
Okay, yeah.
2017 came second place. So obviously he can he's proven being tall is not an excuse.
Yeah.
Just because you have to deadlift a little farther, just because you have to squat a little farther, you can be a little faster. He's super smart. But the thing that we didn't get on the stage 1 of the games is really a chipper of any kind. And if you watch him do a chipper, he's usually going to win those, or if not, place at least in the top 3. Like he's the smartest guy in CrossFit today, I would say. He knows how to strategize a workout. But a lot of these, I would say, did benefit guys not quite his build, not quite his shape. He was 5th on the row, and then on the very last event, off land, he came 2nd place. Everything after that wasn't even in the top 10.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like whenever we'd get to Sunday, and it would be Rich and Matt, and obviously in different years, there's nothing that they can put in that tennis stadium that's not in their wheelhouse.
Right.
And so like a guy like Fikowski benefits from those 8 workouts that are outside. So it's like the long run, the long swim, an obstacle course, something like that, where that can apply to workouts that don't have a short barbell path or a wall ball or something like that. So I think that he just missed out on the opportunity because if everyone's in their own their own gym, whether it be in their garage or at their home box, you can't say, hey, go measure out this and also have a pull by hand or that sort of thing. It's just something you can't do. So I think it really showed not being able to do those kind of workouts,
Absolutely.
which kind of is unfortunate for a tall guy like Fikowski, which I'm sure is just as fit as he ever has been.
Absolutely. And again, going back to those All-In documentaries out there, he's been training. He's definitely been putting in the work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out this time.
So on to predictions.
Yeah. So predictions.
Chelsea, you're first this one.
Oh, okay, cool.
I know you can hear it. That says Matt, Noah, Jeffrey, Justin, and Sam.
Well, I honestly, I don't really know the last 3.
Which, I think is what a lot of people are going to run into,
just watching from like last year, I mean, I know it's pretty basic, but I would go Matt and then Noah. And then from hearing you guys talk, just...
Do you have trouble reading Justin on my page?
No, I was just looking at some of the stats that Christian wrote down.
Yeah. I mean, there is a games veteran there. Sam's the one that's been there for 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But then you have the hungry 2 coming up.
Because, I mean, he's been there for 4 years, but he's not, like, even Justin's still ahead of him right there. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Matt, Noah, Sam.
Matt, Noah, Sam.
Pretty good list.
That is. I just don't think that Matt's going to lose. I think it was Make Wad great again the other day. Had that one of
But
Matt
the
and
default letter
Well, no, this one was Matt and Tia were like looking like something like this.
Where's
and they're like, where's
everybody
everyone at? And it says, looks like they're 2 or 3 years behind.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
It's not going away
true.
anytime soon.
Like it's not. Like we were talking about, like when you build up that capacity and that strength, people can't gain on you because they're not. I mean,
and they
they're not
proved
slowing
that at
down.
stage 1 here. Like they showed that gap is still there.
What was it? The version of Fran, Matt beat everybody by a minute.
A minute, 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
In a version of Fran.
A very hard version
It
of
is.
Fran. I would love to do Fran today in 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
Your head would explode.
Right, like
Christian would retire from CrossFit.
I think I would.
that day.
I think I would.
I mean, I don't think that Matt's going to not be in first by a lot. I think he plays. Head games are the wrong thing, but I think he's intimidating. I think he does like to talk, and I think he does like get in people's heads, and that's part of this game. But now there's only 4 guys that he has to intimidate and beat Matt Frazier too. So I think that he's got it. I think athletically Noah's going to be second, but I think that Jeffrey Adler's going to push him for it.
Okay.
I can personally say that I'm less of a fan of Noah for only one reason, because he disrespected our boy Zach Mabry one year at a competition, and so he's just he can he's a glass ceiling for him, like I can't like him quite as much. In a personal preference, I wish he would stop wearing like pirate headbands. They're way too long. No, this is not a pirate headband.
All right.
It's high and they dangle like down to here. And so, like he said, that's just a neat thing. But I think I'm gonna say Jeffrey Adler comes in second.
Okay.
Noah comes in third, and I think that Justin Medeiros is gonna beat Sam Quant, and so it's gonna be 4 for Justin and 5 Sam.
I like that you didn't put Noah second, because there's a part of me that wants to bet on Noah being second, but I also want to take a riskier bet and say that Justin Medeiros claims his safe this year.
The mullet is gonna carry.
The mullet's gonna carry, but my podium is obviously Matt, and then I'm really pushing hard for Justin Medeiros for that second place, and then Noah third. There's not a doubt in my mind that Noah's gonna be on the podium.
Yeah.
Just depending on with the way Matt's performing right now, second or third.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but that's just where we are.
And I also don't want to see Matt and Tia fall. Like I love for them to keep gaining and like come catch us type thing,
There's that part of me that loves watching that competitive race. Like, oh man, like whenever it was Tia's first win versus Cara Saunders, Cara led at the time, and it was down to like 2 points at the last event. I love that game. I love where I'm like screaming at the TV.
Yes.
And I have no idea what's going on, like who's gonna win until they actually announce it. But then at the same time, as Dylan Wiles pointed out to me the other day, are we watching history right now? Absolutely, we're watching history. Are we looking at our Michael Jordan right now, or was Froney our Michael Jordan? Now we're looking at, I don't know.
No, I really think it is, because not that it was a washed down version with Rich, but there was far less people there. Like the weights hadn't been as heavy as they are now, and like just like anything, everyone's getting better, so it's keep challenging. And Castro's kind of shown that in some of the workouts where you're like, they're gonna do what? Like, what do you know? Like, good lord, that's massive. And so I'm not saying that he couldn't survive here, but unlike like other popular debates like in basketball's basketball.
Right.
And you can kind of say like, no, I think Jordan, I think LeBron, I think Kobe, all that sort of stuff. But this is like we're in the first 20 years of its conception.
Absolutely.
So
it's still very new.
Right. Yeah. So there's not even a blueprint, not even close to a blueprint. Like we have Games athletes that increase their clean and jerk by 20 pounds in a year still, and they're at the tip top. So like clearly we like as a race, as a sport, haven't reached like the apex. So I think he's clearly the best. Although Rich Froning has a place in my heart because he was there first, right? Yeah. So I'm super excited to see it. I just don't think it's gonna be much of a race.
I just want that, even if it's not at the games, if somebody set up like a pay-per-view boxing match where it's like, this is just Rich Froning versus just Matt Fraser.
Yeah.
Froning has said it 1,000 times. He's sick of hearing about it. It's not going to happen.
But see, I think he puts up that front because he knows that if he one time says it, he's gonna it's gonna like light a fire inside him. He's gonna go back to training hard and actually do it. So he's staying well away from it, well out of the conversation. He's like, I got my buffalo. I got my beautiful family. I'm gonna do that sort of thing now.
Absolutely.
You got it. You can have the.
And he's got 8 trophies on his shelf.
Yeah. If he takes pictures, he'll just be like, no, I really don't think it's a big deal, and trophies everywhere, right? So yeah, history's in the making. It really is.
Yeah,
And especially with this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of history going on in this year.
But maybe that means they'll go out to the range more often in the future. But it's
They
not
could
very
even
close
include it in
now.
their stages.
Yeah.
It just depends on what kind of contracts they build. Because obviously, I think this, if I remember correctly, was supposed to be the last year in Wisconsin. At least for this contract. I don't know if they were going
It
to
was,
re-up.
it was a 3-year.
4-year.
The 4-year.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be the last year. I'm curious that being canceled, if that means that contract is going to be pushed back to next year. And from there, if they re-up with Madison. But if they went back to somewhere around California, which is where HQ is, I would love to see them actually use both the ranch and whatever arena they might have set up, where they could do a multiple stage thing, whether this one is 3 stages, where they do the one online, and then they do stage 2 maybe at the ranch, and then, or even stage 2 in the whatever Coliseum they might be in, because it has a bigger crowd, more players there, and then from there, whenever you make that last cut, at the ranch.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'm looking forward to it. It's starting on Monday, right?
Monday. I'm not quite sure how to watch it. I feel like I heard somebody say, Taylor said Eric Rosa was working with CBS, maybe?
That'd be cool if it was on Netflix.
Absolutely. Like, that's one thing that Eric Rosa, which, again, we haven't talked about him at all in this first episode. I'm very excited for what he brings to the table.
So excited. I mean, he's an OG.
Absolutely. He's been doing this for, what, 10 years?
I mean,
Owning?
I feel like he was around, early 2000s, like around that area and around like the whole thing, and then he's been part of CrossFit for
Right.
the 10ish years. But that's super exciting. Like I was afraid, obviously, the whole thing with Glassman being pushed out and everything. That I was afraid it was going to be just someone who didn't understand CrossFit,
Right.
who didn't know what we all fell in love with CrossFit about, and what we had been moving away from, what we loved. And I really think they chose the best guy.
He knows how to own gyms. He owns multiple gyms, I believe in Colorado. He also owns his own tech companies, and from what I've seen, people who work for him enjoy working for him.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to make a great work environment for the people at CrossFit HQ. He also cares about the sport, which that's Glassman said many times. He did not care about the sport of CrossFit.
Yeah.
I think Eric Rosa is I care about the health initiative that CrossFit is, and I care about the sport that's bringing people in.
Yeah.
The sport of CrossFit absolutely brings people in. You watch it on something like CBS when they're sitting at like a Chili's bar,
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa, what is that? Somebody says, you get in there. Glassman believed otherwise. He thought that was too intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an amazing thing.
Well, it's a great thing to see because like you can relate to them. Like they're doing front squats. I did a front squat yesterday. Sure, they're doing more. They're doing heavier. It doesn't really matter. As long, it kind of keeps your dream alive. I tell people all the time, like it's like that's the NFL to our little league.
Right.
Yeah. So like we can pretend. Like it's Matt Frazier going for the win. And it's just Christian all by himself in the gym.
Absolutely.
But that's what keeps dreams alive. So I agree with that. I really like that he's like going to do both of it, and hopefully CrossFit really makes a resurgence as far as like the love aspect that
Right.
from people who've been doing it for a long time, and where it's been changing kind of over the past, unfortunately, past 2 or 3 years.
I think the 2018 Games is the biggest year we've seen so far, like media-wise. 2019 obviously took a huge step the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I think we're taking the steps the right direction again
Yeah.
now, thanks to Eric Rosa. But again, I think he might be working with CBS, so maybe we'll be seeing it on television next week. Otherwise, we'll probably see it on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and probably the CrossFit Games website.
So when does that make the last day?
I don't know. I just know it starts on the 19th. I don't know if it's 5 days, 4 days, what they're looking at. If they went all the way to Sunday, that'll definitely make this the longest CrossFit Games ever. But with only 5 athletes, I don't see it going to Sunday. I see it maybe more to Thursday, Friday.
Well, maybe that's going to make the performance better because they're not having to fit like 8 heats per wad.
Right.
So they can have like 2 or 3 hours of recovery time as opposed to like an hour.
Or even off days in between.
They did that at one.
After the marathon row in the 2019
Super nice
Games.
Super
They
nice.
started on like a Tuesday,
Yeah.
closed out with that marathon row, and they had Wednesday off. That's when they did their opening ceremonies and things like that with all the national champions. And that's what was cool to watch. And like if it did get smaller again, that's one thing I'll miss.
Yeah.
However, for the sake of the sport, I do think it needs to get smaller.
Yeah. I mean, just so we can start sitting, like really paying attention to some of the top athletes.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm excited that they're going to be this weekend, or so this next week, and then that's going to put us right back into our season.
Right.
Because the Open's moving back to the fall and all that. We're super excited for
Absolutely.
that. Or back to the spring, sorry.
Right.
They had moved it to the fall. And then, so now the CrossFit Games athletes actually are going to have a season, and then we'll figure out what they do with the sanctionals, and it's going to be a good year. It can only go up in 2021.
Agreed.
Lord, I hope so. But I guess that was the first episode.
That was it.
That was wonderful. We're going to have a laptop next time.
A laptop. Thank you for watching, if you're still watching. Whether you guys like it or not, I'm having fun.
Yeah, we're having a good time. We like talking to each other, and we're going to keep talking to each other and post some. Our schedule and stuff is going to be something we kind of play with.
Absolutely.
Weekly, bi-weekly, just general CrossFit stuff or local stuff specifically, but we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And as time goes on, we're hoping to invest more microphones. Hopefully you can hear us okay for this first one. We're gonna work on some sound equipment, maybe a little better of a studio. Right now, again, we're working in the office at Active Fitness Studio. But we're super excited about things to come. Comment on our YouTube videos. Send us messages on Instagram. Comment on our Instagram posts. We want to know what you guys want to see that maybe you're not seeing through other CrossFit media outlets, or what you think that we could provide for you.
Yeah, and we've always thought that River Valley is a really awesome spot for CrossFit in general. We have a bunch of awesome boxes, a bunch of awesome communities and athletes, and I think that we could really drive everyone's involvement with something like this. So we don't want it just to be our home gym. We want it to be all the gyms. Everyone interact. Let us know, and we'll keep on doing this.
Chelsea, anything?
No, I'm good.
All right.
All right. I don't know how we're gonna sign off on this. We're sure that we gotta say like
You're safe, like Bell High Five. You want to do that again? Just. Bye, guys.